Hi, I'm Tim Pollak, outdoor floriculturist here at the Chicago Botanic Garden, and I'm going to show you how to make hanging baskets. These are great projects to make at home, and you can do a lot of fun things both in the sun or the shade. I'm here in the Buehler Enabling Garden at the Botanic Garden, and this is a finished product that we made for spring. And you can see that we've used plants on the side as well as on the top, and that is exactly what I'm going to show you how to make at home. Now we're ready to make that basket. We're going to make a shade basket using a pre-lined basket that comes with what they call moss matting. So what you want to do first is fill a little bit of soil down at the bottom, just like so. I'd like to put about 3 to 4 inches down there just so I have some extra weight so the basket stays still. What you want to do is cut a piece of plastic, and you're going to use this as a sleeve to protect the plant. Because I like to recommend planting from the inside out. So what you want to do is make a small slit or hole into the side of the basket. And rather than starting down at the bottom, I like to go about 1/3 of the way up. And get your plastic sleeve. Protect the foliage as best as possible. Be very careful. Again, we do have some flowers on there that might get damaged as you go through. Don't worry about them. We can always tear them off at the end, and the plant will actually respond a lot better with more flowers in just a matter of a couple weeks. And as we go through, I'm pushing from the inside at the same time as I'm pulling the plastic. And right when you get to the edge, you pull the plastic off the plant. Plenty of buds for future color here in the next week or so. Over here where this overlaps a little bit, because these are 2 folds, you got to be careful to make sure that you cut both sections. To give this basket a little bit of some trailing appearance to it, we're going to use some English ivy. Again, we protect our plant. This one will go in a lot easier because it's a smaller plant. And we're just going to come through. If you need to turn your plant so that the little longer tails are going in the right direction, go ahead and do so now before you add soil, because sometimes you put it in and it's up like that and you just want to turn it down. We're going to alternate with some impatiens. This happens to be a little dwarf, they call it a butterfly impatiens. Tease those roots just a little bit. This one happens to be a little bit more root bound. Okay, hold it with one hand, protect it that way, cover it up, and come through the hole. Just like so. And again, it's kind of a two-handed project. You're pulling and pushing at the same time, guiding everything into that small slit. So again, I'm just kind of randomly mixing these plants up, kind of alternating between the white flowers and the pink flowers and some of the green of the foliage. Waxed begonias are very tender and fragile, so be very careful as you slide that through the hole. It's actually a good idea to remove flowers at this point, because the plant will respond with more flowers and more foliage after you clean it up. So we've done one complete layer all the way around. Now we're going to add some more soil to cover those existing root balls. And that's about it. You're going to go about halfway up. Okay, so we're going to do one more layer. And what I like to do on the next layer is now stagger, kind of a checkerboard effect to it. Instead of going right above this plant, we're going to go in this zone here. Yeah. Now you'll notice, since we are planting from the inside out, the moss mat or even a cocoa fiber would do the same thing. It's actually kind of acting like a little sleeve itself to help hold the plant in. Because if you plant from the outside in, you often have the effect where the plant might fall out after you're done planting. As this also will help hold the soil around the root ball. Very good that way. So that's why I like to recommend planting from the inside of the basket going out. I'm going to use some Vinca Vine. This happens to be the illumination variety. So it's yellow, variegated. Kind of goes with our ivy, the English ivy. And this will give us definitely some length, but it's also adding another texture to the whole mix. The basket itself is going to have a lot of color from the flowers, but it's also going to have some good color from the foliage. Alright, so I'm going to protect that guy, but we are going to guide the long ones in first, very carefully. Just one at a time, just so you know that you're going to be careful so they don't bend and snap. And now we're ready to guide that plastic through to get the rest of the plant through. Again, two-handed project, just pull and push at the same time. Right till you get to the end, and there it is. So, we used 6 plants down at the first row, and we have 7 plants on the next row. This basket, which is a 16-inch diameter basket, so far has used 13 plants. Okay, so we've planted the 2 sides. We're going to add some soil. And I'm using a potting soil that's a very light potting soil. I recommend using something that has a lot of peat moss. The white is perlite, and that helps for drainage. Once I get there, I'm just going to kind of tamp that down just to settle all that soil there. Don't compress your soil, though. This is where it could become a little difficult because you've got root balls that are right in your planting area. So kind of feel around, see where those root balls are. And again, as we go around, I'm going to add some of the trailing look to that non-stop begonia. Beautiful rose, almost camellia-like flowers. You can make your basket like this at home, but you can also buy pre-made baskets, especially coming up here at the Chicago Botanic Garden at Blooming Festival. And you can also buy the individual plants, so you have a lot of good choices. We're going to mix in some ivy. At the Blooming Festival, there's a lot of good activities. Each day there's some free seminars and hands-on kind of workshops that you can watch and do and partake in, as well as all the great plants, trees, shrubs, perennials, and annuals that we have. So we're just kind of randomly just going to put these, this is that impatiens again with that lavender color flower. Just make sure that everything is all covered up. And I'm going to plant that right in front of that begonia a little bit, just so it fills up this region right here. I tend, you know, when you're making your baskets, you want to give the plants some room to grow. And that is how you make a hanging basket, side planted moss basket. Beautiful.